Good Friday evening, everybody, and welcome to this year's first episode of the Hearts of Men podcast hosted by the community. We're your hosts for this evening's conversation. My name is Dwayne Dwyer. I go by the Mindset Coach, and I am joined by my brothers up top. To one of my sides. I ain't fit to tell you left or right. You got my good friend, Brother Garfield Martin, also known as the Uncle Junior himself. He also goes by the Consistency Coach. To my other side, you have our other brother, Brother Tawami Gaddy, also known as the son of Timothy, more affectionately known as the Available Man. And below us, we have our brother, starting with the youngest first, Mr. Christopher McClellan from across the table with Christopher McClellan. He is still the angry guy that is still learning. And by his side is the oldest man on this panel, my brother Roland Walker, poor man's Dr. Phil. Mr. Shift happened. Gentlemen, how are you doing on this beautiful Friday evening?
I'm good. Like, I'm really, really good.
I'm good too, man. We wasn't here last week, so we missed a little bit of time, man. So we were backstage, and we didn't talk nothing about the show. We just chatted up the whole time, So I'm excited. I'm extremely excited and happy and joyous to be in you guys' presence this afternoon.
Likewise.
Shout out to the chat already.
Hey, same here. Health intact, families intact, man. Relationship with my friends intact. I love you all. I'm doing good.
I love it.
We winning. I'm good.
Hey, shout out to Michigan football team, man. Michigan, which is his team, by the way. I want to do it publicly because I'm always talking about Georgia Bulldogs, right? But Michigan made it to the national championship. So shout out to all Michigan fans out there. I am actually going to be rooting for Michigan come Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you are a college football fan, be sure that you tune in for the last game of this season before Georgia restock and just run through the NCAA football for next year. All right, listen.
I knew he was prepping for something. I'm like, bro, this is way too good to be true. I'm just like, I would do.
Y'all know me, man. Y'all know me. Listen, I want to make sure that I give the chats a shout out, man. You guys are awesome. Like they said, we missed you guys. We missed you guys last week. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge you guys by name because, again, you are faithful. You always show up, and it does our hearts good to see you there. So shout out Michelle Ray, Nick D, Crystal Everett. Let me see who else. Miss Cassandra McKenzie, May Bird, Bernadette Simmons, Miss Brianna Moore, good to see you. Miss Adrian Walter, good to see you. Miss Lisa Keys, good to see you. And anybody else that I missed that has not, had the opportunity to get in the chat and just let us know that you're there, please come on over. Just say hello because we like to acknowledge you by name because we want to make sure that we celebrate you because we don't feel that we do that enough in our community. And also, if this is your first time joining us, by all means, take your cursor and put it in the lower right-hand corner. If you are with us on YouTube, and click on the YouTube symbol and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also, I want to give a special shout out over there on Instagram to Miss Nava Natasha. Good to see you. And anybody else, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and any other platform that we're blasting to, we would like to welcome you. Go ahead and hit the like button, so that so that we can go ahead and appreciate that. That said, man, we're just gonna kind of dive into it because that's what we do here. So, welcome to Kicking the Door to 2024, a conversation that's about to redefine the way you approach the future. As we stand at the entrance of this new year, it's time to shed your doubts, embrace your dreams, and seize every opportunity with unbridled enthusiasm. 2024 brings with it a fresh canvas, and the question on everybody's mind is, how do I make this year count? Well, get ready because this video here is going to provide you with some answers. From personal challenges to the dynamic changes in our world, this journey of this new year is filled with hurdles and opportunities alike. But fear not, for this video is your compass. It's going to guide you towards seizing every moment, conquering setbacks, and making 2024 a year of monumental growth, remarkable achievements, and unprecedented joy. But that's not all. For those of you who are truly passionate about continuous growth, who yearn for a community of like minded go getters, we extend a warm invitation to our exclusive Diamonds Club membership program. Inside, you'll discover a treasure trove of resources, enriching workshops, and exclusive content, all tailored to fuel your journey. And speaking of community, I'd like to introduce to you our community, the community, a space where individuals come together, sharing their dreams, discussing their challenges, and celebrating their triumphs. It's a place where support flows freely and where your aspirations are nurtured every step of the way. So if you're ready to embrace 2024 with unwavering enthusiasm, boundless passion, and crystal clear vision, this is the video for you. Don't hesitate. Go ahead and subscribe again, and that way share it. That way you can share it with people that you know, love, and care about, because we are about to go on this roller coaster. Now, that being said, let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Good to see you, Rhonda Cyrus. Welcome to the show. So, that being said, gentlemen, this is the new year. And you guys already know that people tend to do New Year's resolution. I personally don't, right? But do you guys believe in New Year's resolution? Do you make New Year's resolutions, things of that nature? And if not, please share with us why, because I'm curious to see if our thought processes align.
I don't necessarily have an issue with resolutions, right? Does New Year resolution mark like, I guess if you need a marker to get yourself started, but I'm all for, creating new goals and creating new challenges for you to overcome or get through, new uh heights to reach. But why not right now? Why why December 31st do you drink your way into your new uh self, your new workout routine? Like, go to the gym today. So that's my mindset with it. So I'm all for resolution, but whether or not it needs to be New Year's, I think people that do the New Year resolution more times than not don't stick to it. They fall off that wagon in 2-3. But
That's why gyms are empty in February. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I get the whole New Year's resolution thing, because New Year's Day, New Year, new me, all of that fun stuff. We hear it every year. But like Tuame said, man, you don't need like a specific day to do what you're supposed to do or do what you've always wanted to do. Why not just go do it? Just go do it. But I mean, I kind of get it, but I just think it's gimmicky now. It's just gimmicky now. Those are my thoughts.
Resolution. No, go ahead. Go.
I can see it both ways. I can see that for a lot of people, it's nothing more than something that they're going to start, and it's like they're looking for that day to start, to mark on the calendar. And like you said, a lot of people do fizzle off after some time. However, I do think that for some people, it can be a great thing because, like you said, you can. It's like almost like a reset button, right? You made some mistakes. You can contract things annually. You can say, well, in this year I did this, and this year I did this. You can show progression. So I think if you do those things and you kind of track them, and then you use those to kind of go back and assess your progress, I think it can be a good thing because it's easy to chart. I think someone said that earlier, used that word. So it's easy to chart and say, all right, well, this is what I'm going to do this year. So I think in theory, and I think for a lot of people, it can be a really good thing. Now, whether you start January 1st, whether you start June 1st, whether you start April the 17th, it really doesn't matter. But I think for a lot of people, it is beneficial for them when they see that number. Because you say, oh, well, when did you start your weight loss journey? You say, well, I started April the 17th, 2023. Well, that's, sometimes it sounds different than, when you can say the whole year, So I think it's kind of some of the different things like that. I'm neither for it or against it. I don't do New Year's resolution. I create a list. I track a lot of stuff. I foresee things that I'm going to do that year and then put them on the calendar. Like I haven't done it yet. Like I got a big old calendar right here and it has the entire year on it. So birthdays, holidays, competitions, events that I got planned, I can go up there and I can look at it and I can see the entire year. So, like I said, I'm neither for it nor against it. If people want to do it, I think it can be a good thing. I think stick to it. And if you don't, then just don't, but I see it both ways.
My man's kicking in because when you said the calendar got a whole year, and I was like, the whole year? No.
But like, see, for me, like, remember we was in the military, so we saw out.
I know 30
3
years,
months, 6 months, 9
years,
months. So for
yeah.
me, being an NTO for 16 of the 20 years, it's like that's
Long
how my
range
mind
yeah.
thinks now. Yeah.
Right. I look at the resolution part. That's cool. I mean, I think we all should try to strive to be more disciplined in however we see our lives but it's not a new you, new year, new me. It's the same me trying to be a better me. So as I'm going forward, I'm like you, I'm gonna write some things down. Hey, let me stop making these things empty. Let me stop doing certain things that keep me from my goals. Let me not be lazy. Let me read more books. Let me do less TV time, less video game time. It's some things that we all want to do, and it's all about discipline. Because if we just sit back and say, man, let me be a more disciplined person in every facet of life, then we get to where we're trying to go instead of just us doing mere lip service.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest with you, Uncle Junior. I always hated that desk calendar when I was in the army. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I just put stuff on top. It was like a mouse pad for me, this ginormous mouse pad with like dates on it. I hated it. So I'm that automated guy. I like putting stuff in my calendar. I like the reminders. I like the pop-ups and all that other great stuff. Because I am that person. I would tell you, I am going to forget if I don't put it on my calendar. And I joke, and people think I'm kidding when I joke about it, though. I literally I make goals, I set plans, but I live my life 2 weeks at a time. If it's 3 weeks down the road, I ain't want to talk about it right now. You know what I'm saying? I set goals out there, but it's not for discussion. It's for me to remember when I get 2 weeks to it, and then I can start prepping for it. I'm not against New Year's resolutions either. This going to be again. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just not going to wait till January 1st to make a plan for something that I can make a plan for when it comes to my mind, or when I have the thought, or when I'm in the conversation with somebody who brings something to my awareness that I can actually do now. There's no need to wait till January 1st to put it on the calendar, or whatever the case may be. And I reflect back in the past when I would do that. The only thing I was doing was lying to myself anyway. Like I would say, okay, well, New Year's 1st, and I'm gonna use the example that everybody's talking about, right? New Year's 1st, I'm gonna go to the gym 5 days a week. No, I'm not, because I got habits I got to shake off, right? And the only way that you're going to shake off habits is by recreating new habits. And so, in essence, it's not that I can't do it on January 1st. It's that if I wait to January 1st, I'm more likely not to do it because I could have started it back then, but why didn't I? Right. So that's how I see it. And so I became that guy. Like, if it's something I am going to do, I became intentional about it. And I'm glad to see Natasha on it because she can pretty much vouch. Like when I said I was going to podcast, I kind of kicked that can down the road for a while. And then she just asked me one day, she said, okay, so how can I help? And I don't know what it was about that question. That question said, you know what? That was enough to move me to action because it was almost like I gave my word that I'm going to do a thing and then I didn't do the thing. And the only reason that I can come up with that I didn't do the thing was this person right here. So when she asked me that question, that was enough to say, you know what? Be intentional about it, do it, fail forward, and then make it happen. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm not for New Year's resolutions for me. But again, for anyone else, if that's what you do, I'm okay with that. Just make sure that you follow through with it. Don't just make a New Year's resolution and then, oh, well, I don't feel like it. I get to it tomorrow. Oh, I don't feel. No. Be intentional about it. Tell some people the things that you want to do and actually have accountability partners that can hold you accountable to the word that you actually put forth. So,
You need to have
great,
a
bro.
plan. Got to have a plan with it, not just a verbal thing. Most things that people accomplish, there's a plan. Everybody that has any type of degree, there's a plan. There's a syllabus. When you go in day one, this is the plan to get this, to get your A or your B or whatever grades you get. So if you follow the plan, you will get there. But a lot of people, they, like you said, they try to just go into things without a plan. And don't.
Absolutely. Listen, if you guys, again, if you're just joining us, go ahead and hit the like button and share it with some other people so that they can get this information because we're about to dive into it right after I grab some of these comments from the chats. Excuse me. Michelle Ray says, cliche mindset. I believe it takes constant action in order to change your mindset. It doesn't happen in one day. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I thank you for sharing that. Cassandra agrees with me that desk calendar is terrible. Adrian says, Zechariah 4:10, despise not the day of small beginnings. Every day is a new day, new me. And I like that. I kind of have this saying that I say to myself quite frequently is that every day is an opportunity to be a better version of myself. And so every day I get the opportunity to wake up, I look at what I can do to progress and move forward and grow. Nick D said you should not just evaluate your need for progress, change, etc. on an annual basis. Motivation, dedication, drive, determination, discipline, etc. need to be fueled on a regular basis. Absolutely. She goes on to say, I feel like waiting until the new year gives you permission to procrastinate or just not do it at all. You know what, Nick D? I'm going to tell you, I was that guy that need permission to procrastinate. I was good at it. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with that. Thank you for that. Lisa says, write the vision, make it plain. Absolutely. Okay. So I think Uncle Junior kind of gave us a great segue into it. So we're talking about now setting purposeful goals for 2024. And here's what I want to do, right? For all of you in the chats, if you don't mind, there's no pressure, right? But if you don't mind, just kind of give us one goal that you one goal that you're going to set for yourself or that you have set for yourself in 2024. But you don't have to give us all of them. Just give us one meaningful goal that you're going to set for yourself. And so with that being said, gentlemen, I kind of want to present that to you as well. What is one thing, just one thing that you're going to do, that you're going to be intentional about? And these are your accountability partners, doggone it. What are you going to do for 2024 that I can call you up and say, Chris, didn't you tell us? No, I'm joking.
I'm going to quit being angry. That's my goal for 2024. I am going to quit being angry. Don't do that. That's not fair. Seriously, man, I really don't want to be angry no more. I really don't. So I'm going to quit being angry, or at least try not to be angry. That's my goal for 2024. Well, one of them.
I wrote that one down.
I kind of do words and kind of like phrases and stuff. So right now mine is kind of spilled over from maybe 2 or 3 months in 23, and it's my two biggest things that I'm focused on right now is my time and my memories, right? And they kind of work hand in hand. So with time, our time is limited on this earth. So what we do with it is very important to me. So I'm gonna be a lot more intentional with what I choose to do with my time. And that means not only taking care of myself, but taking care and working and building the current relationships that I already have with people. And then when you look at brain dump real quick. What was the other one I just said? Somebody help me out. Memories. There we go. What in the world? Look at that. Memories, right? So those two things, right? It's funny that they hit at the same time, but these brothers already know where I'm coming from. So yeah, those are two things I'm focused on right now in this time and memories, right? That easy. That could have been a joke, man.
Right? It was a joke. Trust me,
it wasn't though. It wasn't a joke. That was like all natural. It wasn't a joke, but
oh my
I'm like that could have been a good joke. But yeah, the memories part and the memories kind of go hand in hand with that. Like I'm about making memories, you know, not just for 24, but definitely for 24 and hoping to continue on even the rest of my life after that. So what I do with my time should at some point, and not at some point, but what I do with my time should also encompass making memories. You know, so like I said, those are the two things that I'm super focused on is my time and being intentional with it, who I spend it with and what I do with it, and making memories.
I like it.
And yes, I have a plan.
I just want to say I love it here, by the way. Just go ahead.
Yeah, man.
To be honest, I was originally about to say I don't know because of where I'm at in my headspace, but that actually led me to actually know what I'm going to be intentional about, and that's really seeking the Most High as far as like where's the direction of His. And I'm careful with my words because you know my brother Ro is going to hold me accountable in a different way than y'all think when I say it wrong, but just in the space of what would he have me to do, because he has changed a lot with my mind, with my thought process, with just the way that I've always envisioned myself has changed in recent years, and not for the worse, for the better. But now I want to be intentional in seeking God and for him to show me what does that look like now, because I knew what I thought it looked like before, but yeah, what does that look like? So that's why I'm intentional and just seeking him, and then after that I can get a plan of action of where I'm gonna go. And I know that sounds little, and I know that sounds small, but it's a lot for someone who thought he had life figured out.
You're an overachiever, man. You're muted, bro.
No, I'm thinking. I think one, I want to be intentional with my family. You know, see my kids and grandkids more, especially the ones down in Houston, and spend time pouring into them. And also, I want to dig more into where I can have the a hold on the Hebrew language. That's what I want. I want to have Hebrew language as it be second nature to me, where when I see something, I can just read it, I can just see it and say what it means and so forth. But I also want to not be afraid to succeed, because I think sometimes I will hold myself back or play the fall guy or whatever it is that I say I want to do. But instead of reaching out for it, I find an excuse not to do these things. I find an excuse to pull back and be like, okay, and play that role of like that'll do, have a that'll do attitude. I want to strive for success and see it come to fruition in my life.
I was watching, what is it, Best Man Holiday? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, yeah. The one that makes everybody cry. Yeah, absolutely. And my goal for 2024 is God, family, football. No, seriously. I like what I'm hearing. I like the family. I like the family, spending time with family, spending more time with my grandson. Definitely one of the things that I am intentional about doing is, and there's no need for 2024 to change. I want to do that more than what I did in 2023. So spend more time with my grandson. Obviously, that means spending more time with my son because I got to see him see my grandson through my son. But specifically for me, by the end of 2024, I want to write 3 documents, whether they're ebooks, whether they are hard copy books. I want to write 3 of them in 2024. I also want to do um, 3 seminars as well. One is already on the books. I need to discover the other 2 that I am going to do as well. So um, that's just one of the things that I have on my plate for 2024. Now, that said, I want everybody to research and thank you guys for your goals for 2024 in the chats and keep them coming. By the way, for those of you who are still thinking, keep them coming. Um, I want everybody to kind of look at their goals. And as your goal was stated for the gentleman on the panel and for the people that are in the chats and for the ones who are still considering and processing, as you are considering your goals, I want you to ask yourself, how can you measure success based upon how you articulated it or how you wrote it? And if you can't measure success based upon how you articulate it or how you wrote it, I want you to redefine it. Right? You don't have to do it right now. Just kind of, noodle on that. I'm stealing that because I heard that today and I thought it was funny. I haven't heard that in a long time. So I want you to noodle on that. And I want you to try to come up with a way to measure success when it comes down to that particular goal. Now, that takes us to the next question that I want to bring to the table when it comes down to this particular conversation, because I think this is a thing that we struggle with when it comes down to goals. So, how can individuals strike a balance between setting ambitious goals, maintaining motivation, and adapting to unexpected challenges?
So for me, I think this is exactly where the plan comes in, right? So when you say, hey, look, I am whatever height and weight, I'm 5'2", 300 pounds, right? I want to get down to a size 2 by the end of the year, right? So let's do that, right? If that's what your goal is, let's sit down and let's write out a 12-month plan on how you're going to lose, let's say 150 pounds or 180 pounds in 12 months, right? So as you going through and you're looking at that, and I'm say for instance, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, and I'm writing this program for somebody. And I'm saying, okay, well, this is averages out to about 35 pounds a month. I'm just giving out a number. And this means you're going to have to eat this. You're not going to be able to do this. And this is how much exercise and cardio you're going to have to do a month, right? When you look at that plan, you should be able to see, is this something that I'm going to be able to maintain for 12 months? All right, well, I got a husband, I got a wife, I got kids, I got to go to soccer, I got to go to football. So where's my time going? Am I going to have time to go to the gym? So I think when you write out or look at your plan and not just look at what you want, I think that can help some with this, and then I think that can also help with the motivation as well. When it comes to the motivation, find something that is more powerful than what you don't want to do. What I mean by that is when it's 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning and that alarm clock goes off and you got to go to the gym, you know what I mean? Whatever that your goal is, it needs to be more powerful than hitting that snooze button. And if not, you're going to hit that snooze button. So, and you also have to understand that when you're going through this plan, that there are going to be unexpected challenges. This thing is called life. Somebody's going to get sick. Somebody's going to lose a job. Someone's going to pass away. You're going to get a flat tire. Your cell phone is going to fall in the toilet. Something is going to happen. It's going to throw you off. So one of the things that helps with all of this is just realizing that certain things are going to happen and just expect it. I know I probably went too long, but so I'm done. So all of those things kind of help.
I want to.
That's what that was? Okay.
Sound like it.
Why you want to go too long, man? I can talk all day about this.
Yes, sir. I just want to start by saying, if you get on Uncle Junior's diet routine, you will also be able to outrun the police with a TV strapped to your back.
I mean,
while jumping fences.
Hey,
hey, only certain people gonna catch that joke.
Hey, everything I do is functional. I remember that from, what was the movie, wasn't it? The Olympics.
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Hey, somebody got that joke. It's gonna hit later.
Man, it did change the tires fast.
Nah, but I agree. I agree with Unc. Other than the jumping from 300 at 5'2" to a size 2 in a year, take special drugs. But everything else, I agree. I think the point of goals are to be ambitious. I think sometimes we try to be too realistic that I think you can lose motivation by your goal not reaching where your desire is, as well as setting a goal that's too far to be reached, right? So there should be an equal balance. When I hear the word ambitious, I think all of your goals should be backed by your ambition to accomplish a thing. And so when we start talking about maintaining motivations, and for some of us, we've heard this before, but we gotta learn how to celebrate small achievements along the way, and recognize yourself. Or like we just did here, we all shouted out the things that we're looking to try to do. And so now our accountability partners, all of us who are here in this community, when we see Lisa hire those 10 agents, we could celebrate her, so we play a part in that motivation as well. When she get to 2, we celebrate her, or what have you. So I get the self-motivation, you got to stay hungry, but that takes a part of us too as a community to keep each other motivated, to keep each other, let each other know, I see you. What I mean? When I come out the gym, and I feel like I ain't lost no weight, I ain't seen no progress, and somebody see me, they be like, man, you done lost some weight, didn't you? Just that little, big up is just like, all right, it's working. I can keep going hard. I'm just saying. He brought up the gym, I could bring it up. Don't look at me crazy. So
no, I'm talking about Uncle Junior, man. He had this funky music going in his head and just going from side to side.
Man, it wasn't no funky music. I just didn't agree. And I expressed myself openly when I should have just kept it to myself. And I so since I expressed it openly, and everybody in the millions and the millions of the Rock's fans are going to see this at some point. Chris got that. He's a Rock fan. So
we all caught
that. I don't agree that it's my job to keep you motivated. That's your job. And I think that's part of the problem with a lot of people and why they don't accomplish their goals is they're only moved by external motivation. And that's why I talked about that part when at 4 o'clock in the morning, when that snooze button goes off. Like, only this is your journey. You and only you, like, regardless of who's with you on the journey, you still have to go through the journey yourself. And that's a lot of people's biggest problem is they're looking for so much external motivation to get them across the finish line. And you can't. Like, you have to go through this journey alone. Chris, Coach, Roland, Twam, everybody up here can help me. but I still got to take the steps on my own. So I understand how external motivation can be powerful, but I think everybody who eventually gets to the end goal, it came from internal motivation. But that's my 2 cents.
And I'm not going to argue against that because we're just going to view that differently, and I'm just going to accept that. I believe that I think the reason why and I'm gonna be careful with that, but I feel like the reason why we suck as a community, I'm gonna say it like that, is because everything we teach people to do is about being by yourself, and it's just you, and at some point we got to step in for each other. Everybody needs a pat on the back. Everybody needs an "Hey, I see you, bro." That's just me. But I'm just gonna accept that that we're gonna see it differently, and I don't disagree that you can't walk my walk for me, and that that's 100% true.
Well, just to be clear, I think we do agree. Like I think when
you're basically saying the same thing.
I want the same thing. I just don't think that when it comes to like personal, I think I was speaking more so for personal goals. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't have a problem saying, yeah, brother, I'm seeing you doing good, and you're doing good on your journey, but that's not necessarily my responsibility to do that for somebody.
It just feels good.
And it just feels good at the end of the day. But that feeling is going to go away, next week or 10 minutes down the road when you don't even think about me no more. So you have to have something more.
Gotta do it, even if you don't get there.
You got to do it. Yeah. So that was my only thing. I think we're on the same page, though.
Yeah, because I'm talking strictly from the aspect of maintaining motivation, because all of us know it's some things that you just got to do even when you ain't motivated.
Like go to work every day.
Yeah, but the maintaining motivation to go to work is, seeing my kids eat in the morning.
But see, even with that, like we can get motivated to get our butt up and go to work for somebody for 8 to 10 hours a day, every day. But we can't get up and get motivated to go work out, to go take care of ourselves. Like, it don't even make sense. Like, let's be real.
I ain't motivated every time I go to the gym, but I go. Like that's what I'm saying. So I think there's a difference between taking responsibility of your goal and staying motivated. And so that's what I'm talking about each other, because motivation sometimes takes noticing that it's working. And sometimes I don't notice, and we just talking about the gym, but sometimes I don't see the progress, but you do. And and so when I start not seeing the progress, it becomes easier in my mind to give up on a thing because it's going nowhere.
Well, get out
so
there
that's what I'm talking
grass at 9 o'clock at night.
Hey, that'd be
Chris, what you got, bro?
I would say replace the word ambitious with realistic, because we all have the tools to complete any goal we got put in our head. All goals, all actions beginning with thought. If the thought is there, you can do it. Replace the word motivation with discipline. Motivation is fleeting. I understand what Tawami is saying when he's talking about getting the attaboy after putting in all of that work. That's like somebody recognizing you. I mean, that's motivation in itself, but you got to have the discipline to get to that point where somebody can say, hey, you doing you. You understand what I'm saying? Congratulations. I see you slimming down. You're saying you have to have the discipline to do that. And just remove the word unexpected and just put it to challenges, because no matter what you do, no matter what goal you got set, there's always going to be something that comes up that you don't expect. It's always going to be like that. So that's where I would go. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, when Tawame was speaking about the motivation aspect of it and an attaboy feeling good, I got where he was coming from. But we also have to stop sugarcoating this. Like things aren't going to happen, hiccups aren't going to happen, and that you have to really be disciplined to do this. And if the goal is in your head, you can do it. You understand what I'm saying? We just have to base level it, bottom line it. That's just me.
And being real, it do feel good. It do feel good when somebody like, yeah, man, you know, I see your little muscles, man. The shirt getting a little tight. And I'm like, yeah, man, because I bought a smaller one. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I bought a smaller one.
It's a quick way to get swole. Buy a smaller shirt.
Why his muscles got to be little though? You know,
look, I'm only 160 pounds, man.
I see your little muscles, bro. You know, come on, man.
That's that underhanded compliment. Like, yeah, I see you, but I don't want to really say I see you, so I'm gonna downplay it.
But you
You
walking around here
understand what
with
I'm
a
saying?
triple X shirt on, walking with your shoulders like this. I see your little muscles, bro. Good job.
Right.
Go on somewhere with that. Hurt my feelings.
Yeah, but like it does feel good when you are on a journey and someone notices it. I will say that. Like I'm not going to discount that, and I'm not going to discount that sometimes I haven't been motivated or it haven't kept the fuel going when somebody's like, brother, I see you. You know what I mean? There even on jobs, I'm like, man, I don't know about this. And somebody will say something, and I'm like, all right, I got it. So I get it. And I know that I am that person who will say things to make people feel better and stuff like that. So I totally get it. I'm not dismissing any of that stuff at all, Gaddy.
But you are right though. It ain't your job. It's not your job to do it. It just feels good to do it.
Yeah. Now that's where I will I will accept that we won't see eye to eye. I think if I'm your boy or vice versa,
Oh, we
and
talking like
I know
this?
that, yeah, community. This is our.
Oh, I'm thinking you talking
We're
about just
community. We're
people out.
family.
You understand what I'm saying?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay,
Like
never
if I
mind.
know that this is what you're trying to achieve, and I see you making small wins along the way, I believe that I'm responsible for recognizing that. Like, hey man, keep it up. Like that data boy feels good, but it feels better when it comes from your brothers, when it comes from someone close. That's just Gaddy's take though.
Bro, what you got, bro?
I think first, when it comes to striking a balance between the setting ambitious goals, sometimes we set goals from where we see other people. So we try to make our starting point there where they are now. Instead of saying, man, I can't read 3,000 books this year like Cat. Maybe I can read two. But, that's just a shot. But I
Cat
think
Williams, don't come for us, bro. Don't come for us.
Is this what we are doing
Hey,
on this
Cat,
fine
come
first
for him.
Friday of
Come
the
from him
year?
alone.
we not Cat. We not geniuses.
Did y'all hear how many Floyd Mayweather read each?
Oh my
year?
God, stop it, man. Stop it.
Floyd Mayweather he can't
Man,
read
listen,
one of
I'm
them.
not
But
doing
anyway,
this with y'all
but
tonight.
no, so we got to stop looking at other people, because if we see six-pack abs on Chris, because Chris is in the gym. So I
Damn
can't
right.
think once I go to the gym, I'm going to be like that right then. I got to work at it. So instead of setting goals here, let's just, as Chris said earlier, start discipline. So, hey, let's try this consistency thing. Get the consistency thing down first before we just think we're going to see results. We want to see results before we get the consistency part. And then the motivation to come, because I'm not looking at like the 300-pound person. I'm not saying I'm looking at the scale every day. No, I'm not going to look at the scale. I'm going to look at my progress in the gym, my progress in my life, my progress. And as I look at my progress, man, I'm better than I was yesterday. I don't feel the pains. I don't feel the hurts. I don't feel those things. So when you set small goals and accomplish them, it motivates you to keep going. So challenges going to come, and you got to be able to adapt and overcome. So be prepared for those, but always have a mindset that it's me against me. It ain't me against the world. It ain't me against Chris. It ain't me against Gaddy. It ain't me against Coach. It's me against me. So every day I get up, I got to be better than the person I was on yesterday, and that's what's gonna motivate me. I'm not gonna push snooze. I personally hate snooze. I'm not gonna push snooze because it makes you lazy. It makes you sit up there, not get good sleep, and all you're gonna do is push a button and wait, look at the clock, like, oh, it's about to go off again. No, if you know you got the time to wait, you got the time to do something.
Hey man, I just
And for the record, I don't push snooze. I got 2 alarms set. So
I apologize.
I appreciate all of this.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss
Hey.
Uncle Junior. We seen you around. All right, can y'all hear me now?
Did you see her?
Man, I don't know what you.
Now we can.
Yeah. Well, I did and I didn't.
Okay.
I seen the passing of the torch. I said that.
Oh
way.
yeah.
I apologize. I had a little interruption here. I like what everybody's saying. For me, I like to look at, and some of the things are going to sound different. That's okay. They're just different. That doesn't mean anything that anyone else said was wrong or what I'm saying is right. or vice versa. I think we should set ambitious goals. I think a lot of times we set goals that we know that we can achieve. Therefore, you set the bar too low. I also believe that there are people out there, they give us permission to set ambitious goals through their achievements. And so that being said, when I go, like when I used to go to the gym, when I seen the dude on the bench press and he's doing a 300-pound bench press, I'm like, I want to do that one day. I'm not going to be able to do that tomorrow, right? But I can build up to that. When I seen somebody do a 500-pound deadlift, I'm like, I want to be able to do that one day. When I seen a person do a 1,000-pound leg press, I'm like, might be a little crazy, but I'm gonna do that one day. And so at the end of the day, I think when we see people who set lofty goals and achieve them, I think what they're showing us is that you can do it too. I think the problem that we have internally is that we look at that person, we think that person is quote unquote special, right? It's not that they're special, they were just a little bit more determined than you. When it comes down to motivation, I think I love the dialogue that you guys were having. I like the introduction of personal responsibility and external motivation. But I think where we run into error sometimes is that we believe external motivation is another person's responsibility. It's not another person's responsibility to externally motivate me. However, if they externally motivate me, I greatly appreciate them doing so. And so for me, I try to stay in the space of appreciation and show them how much I needed that. And then in turn, I am looking for the opportunity to externally motivate them as well. So when you put on that extra medium t-shirt and it's looking kind of good because you're about to bust out the seams, boy, you're doing good. I'm liking what you're doing. To keep up the good work. You need me to come in there and spot you on that the 25-pound deadlift. I just want to make sure. Like, so those things, right? We're doing that because that's where the community comes into play. But the other word I want to focus on instead of motivation, you need to find inspiration. You need that fire that's burning deep within you that keeps you going, even when that alarm clock goes off at 5 o'clock in the morning. My muscles are sore because I've been in the gym all week, but I got one more workout to go. It's easy for me to just hit the snooze button and roll back over. But because of this thing that's inside me saying, get up, I get up anyway, regardless of how tired I am, regardless of how sore I am. And then when I get there, I push through, and about 30 minutes into my workout, I find that extra kick because it kicks in, right? In this question that talks about adapting to unexpected challenges, I like it because we can, in most cases, depending upon what you're doing, you can almost predict the challenges that you're going to run into. Like, just like we just talked about some of the soreness that you're going to get when going to the gym. Trust me, once you start going back to the gym, it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful, especially when you get a little senior in age. It's going to take you a little bit longer to recover, right? You can expect those challenges, but what happens when you have an injury? What happens when something outside of what you anticipated happening? What's your plan to overcome that as well? So you have to come up with these criteria, these benchmarks that you're going to have to go through just in case this happens. What happens if this happens, right? And so in the midst of all of this, you have to come up with that plan, because the thing you don't want to do, you don't want to set goals that are too low. You don't want to run out of gas when it comes down to motivation or inspiration, and you don't want to challenge the surface to where it says, you know what, you don't have to do that. Just quit and just we'll pick it up again next year. So that's kind of like how I see it. So I greatly appreciate everybody's response to this question, and I definitely appreciate everybody's response in the chats. And we're going to start off with Miss Uncle Junior, because I love what she's saying here. She said, I would say the balance in all three can come from being cognizant of or recognizing the consequences and how detrimental those can be if you're not prepared. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, y'all see that face? Did y'all see his face just now? That book, man, listen.
I gotta go back and look at it.
Man, listen. That
he wanted to take credit for that.
Yeah, he did.
Hey.
That was the face of a proud husband right there. I love it.
Hey, what we just found out.
Disappointed.
What we just found out is she be texting him his points during the show now. Now we know. Now we know.
I like that. I like that.
Hey,
that ain't fair.
Matter of fact, let me check the last one. That last joke came from her too.
Absolutely. Shout out to Miss Uncle Junior. We appreciate her every time she shows up. Cassandra McKenzie says, when setting goals, celebrate small wins along the way to the larger goals. I definitely appreciate
that's really important though.
Absolutely.
That is really important,
Super.
especially if you're not used to achieving, or if the road is rocky. Yeah, breaking it down and celebrating where you are, man, that's important.
And even goes back to the reflection piece we was talking about, like someone said, like on a consistent basis, not just reflecting at the end of the year, but reflecting throughout. This is where this comes in too, because sometimes people they go through a year or they go through a couple months and be like, oh man, I'm not seeing the results. And go back and look at your numbers from 2 months ago. That's why I think it's really important to have something written down or a plan, some way to track and monitor.
Absolutely. Here's the second part of her statement, right? Versus looking at challenges as setbacks, look at those things as lessons and revamp the strategy to achieve those goals. So, absolutely. Very good. I love it. Let me see. Do I have anybody else I want to shout out to Adrian Thomas, man? Good to see you. Always good to see you.
The homie Adrian, what is good, brother? That's my bro right there, man. That's my bro.
He says, what's crazy is that many don't realize that the quote, the sky's the limit is not really true. The mind is actually the limit. How do you unlock and remove the limits of the mind? Man, come on. Man, come on. Listen at him.
I think that might have been specifically for you. For the mindset coach. I mean,
I'll tell you how. Come talk to me. Come talk,
there you go.
come talk
There
to
you
me.
go.
Book a session.
That's the answer. Come talk to me. I got you. I got you. Let me tell you something. Listen, if you got limiting belief, come talk to me. I promise you, I'm going to challenge every last one of them. I don't want to hear I can't, I don't feel like, don't even say I don't feel. Don't even use the word feel with me because it is automatically going to get cut up. I'm just being honest. But yeah, that's just it. In order to unlock your mind, the limitations that you have on yourself, you need someone. He says a question for the entire panel. You need someone that is going to challenge those limitations. You need someone outside of your experiences, someone outside of your neighborhood, someone outside of your family that is actually going to challenge you and make you think higher, that's going to actually ask you questions to move you to a higher sense of awareness. I digress, and I'm gonna let these gentlemen go after because I can go all day on. I can go all day on this question right here.
How do you, the last part of that? Okay. Well, since I'm talking anyway, I think let me make sure I read it again. How do you unlock and remove the limits of your mind? I think when whatever you're experiencing, when you get to that point to where you want to quit, push past that. When you push it, you got to push yourself because it's you that's telling yourself, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I got to quit. Oh, I can't go on. But when you push past that, you know you got some more in you. That's why working out with a partner, you got some more, you got one more. Repetition, you have to learn to be your biggest cheerleader. And I wrote that in the thing because when you become your biggest cheerleader, you yourself motivated. You're your everything. You're looking at it like, man, when ain't nobody in the gym with me, I'm still putting up shots. I'm still lifting weights. I'm still doing something. And you have to encourage yourself because you can't count on nobody else to always be there, but you can count on you. And when you learn that you can count on self, you tell your mind that it does what you want it to do, not what it wants to do. Then you unlock a whole new you, and you can say that new me, new whatever bull crap, but you can be that. I mean, because it's bud, new year, new me. That's just something people say when they half inebriated and they want attention. But when you get to that point where you are your biggest cheerleader, you become your own pusher, man, and you can do anything.
I would say figure out who put those limits on your mind in the first place. And why in the blue heaven are you listening to them? You can do whatever you want. Bottom line, you can do whatever you want. So figure that out. Figure out why you have those limited beliefs in the first place. And then go from there.
I think one simple thing that this is like an exercise that people can do to help remove limits, and it's look at things from a different perspective, right? So when you're faced with something or there is a limit or you recognize that there is a limit, look at that limit and think it all the way out the way you're going to think it out, and then try to look at it from a different perspective. Try to look at it from the other side of it. If you're like, hey, I can't get up in the morning because I'm not a morning person. Okay, well, list out or think about all the reasons why you're not a morning person. Fine. And then go back and then write out a list of why you are a morning person and why you can get up in the morning, and maybe some of the positives that may come along with getting up in the morning. So just looking at things, creating some simple exercise to where you look at things on a constant or consistent basis, and looking at things from more than one perspective.
Man, I don't think there's really much that can be said that wasn't said, but I think in part Roland gave us a little bit of the answer earlier when he says every day get up being better than I was before. I think there's a part of goal setting, right, that is continual, and that is goal setting. I think the moment that there's an end point on our goal, right, we have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how can we now go further in this thing, right? Um, if my goal is to start a business and generate revenue, right? That may be where my mind is right now because I'm coming from not having a business with no revenue. But when I get there, I think the limits of the mind is when you become comfortable, or when you become when someone has caused you to believe that this is your limit, that this is all you can achieve or all you can do or all you can accomplish. But when I started my business and I started generating revenue, now how can I scale this to generate X amount by this year? How can I scale this to go further? Uh, it is I think one thing that everybody has shown consistency in this conversation is we understand that there's a process of progress to everything we do, right? The goal may be to get from 300 to a size 2. You may not get there in a year. You might get there in a year, right? I'm not going to say you can't, but let's make our markers along the way. Let's get to this goal, this smaller goal first, until we get to the size 2. And then when I get to the size 2, but what's the goal? Was the goal the size 2, or was the goal healthier? Right? Because healthy for you might not be a size 2. You might be losing too much weight that now you're not healthy on the other side of the spectrum. So if the goal is healthier, how do I get better? I know I say this a lot because this is how I started thinking since I became a 32-year-old diabetic, right? I'm not 32 now, but that's when I was diagnosed. And so I started doing research, not just on what caused diabetes or what caused your body not to process insulin or produce insulin, what causes your pancreas to break down. Bam, what foods make my pancreas stronger? What foods detox my cells? Because sometimes that helps jumpstart my body into burning weight while I'm working out. What foods strengthens helps with my testosterone boost, so I don't have to take testosterone boosters if I start feeling old and my testosterone go down, right? All that stuff, like if it's my health, I could start researching more than just, because in our mind, for most people, we have a vision of healthy is either big and bulky or small and skinny with six-pack abs. But it's your body, it's your bodily function as a whole. So, so that's where you have to start researching. Sometimes your mind is limited because sometimes your understanding of a thing is limited, or sometimes your grasp of a thing or your information that you have is what's limited. So always go back to the drawing board and look at it and see how can I make this bigger? How can I scale this larger? What's the greater plan?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still an advocate of, and I will always be an advocate of, you don't know what you don't know, right? Everybody has what I tend to call unconscious incompetence. That's just what it is. So we can say that all I want to, but at the end of the day, if I don't know, then I don't know, and I can research all I want to. But even in researching, it may reveal to me what I don't know, but I still don't know. Therefore, it requires me to go and find somebody who actually knows. That's why consultants get paid what they get paid, right? You can't say that the CEO of, I don't know, Apple doesn't know how to run business. But I promise you, every now and then he brings in a consultant so that he can scale beyond his limiting beliefs. And I think one of the biggest issues that we have individually is that we will pay money for the wrong thing. We will pay for stuff that makes us look good on the outside, but it doesn't do us any good on the inside, as opposed to paying for something that makes us better on the inside so that we can do the things that we want to do on the outside. So, in my humble opinion, I want to say the gateway to unlocking and removing limits to your mind is recognizing that you don't know what you don't know and then saying, hey, can you help me? I think that's one of the biggest issues that we have as people, right? We don't know how to go and say, hey, can you help me? And then, oh yeah, by the way, that little stuff that look green that come out your wallet that says, it says legal tenure, but it's a lie. Anyway, that stuff that come out your wallet, and yeah, we are spending on something that depreciates as soon as we pay for it. But again, there's a saying that says the most important investment that you will ever make in your life is in yourself. So if you want to break the limits, break those limitations that you currently have, invest in yourself. I think that's the answer and will always be the answer to it. And the only difference between is that you have people who know that and people who don't know that. That's it. So great question, Adrian. Man, you always come up in here dropping fire. Real quick, Michelle Ray had a great comment as well. I believe initially the goals may be moved throughout the journey. So yes, as you grow, your goals should grow as well. And then they should ambition intertwine with realistic approaches and expectations. So because time is not slowing down. I want to kind of get after this question here because I think it'll be great. And I'm gonna do it a different way. I'm gonna do it like this. How can individuals identify which skills or knowledge areas are most relevant and valuable for their personal and professional growth in the year 2024 and beyond? Adrian, me and Adrian collaborated on putting the stuff together. Just saying. I'm joking, man.
This is simple, but it's just not easy. This is simple because if you already have a plan in your head that you want to do something, then Google is your best friend. Google what it takes to do it and then map out a plan to do it. Like it's simple, but it's just like I said, it's just not easy because most of the time when people are setting like personal and professional goals, they're trying to push themselves someplace that they've never been. So they're trying to be something they ain't never seen, or they're trying to be something that they've never seen themselves as. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like working a muscle that you ain't never used before. It's like the first 30 days in the gym. It's gonna suck. You're going to be sore. You're not going to want to move. It's going to be difficult to do your everyday duties on top of that. But I mean, that to me, that's just simple. If there's something that you want to do, Google it and then take it from there.
So I think I may be saying the same thing Chris is saying, but maybe just in a different way. But I would shoot it out there anyway. So the way I'm looking at this is this. You say, okay, at the end of the day, this is what I want to accomplish for 2024, right? I want to accomplish X, Y, and Z, right? So as you creating this plan, you say, okay, well, I need to do this, I need to do this, and I need to do this. Well, like Chris was saying, when you identify the end goal and the steps along the way, those steps along the way are going to be able to tell you which skills and knowledge you need to know in order so you can to move forward, right? So if my goal for 2024 is to get, this car fixed, right? So the engine is sitting in the garage, right? So there's a car in the driveway, engine in the garage. So how do I get it fixed in the year? So I need to figure out, okay, well, I got to fix, I don't know, the spark plugs. I got to change the timing belt, and I got to do a full gasket replacement. Well, then I need to learn how to change oil. I need to learn how to change spark plugs. I need to learn how to change gaskets. So those are the skills that I'm going to need to be able to learn or master, or at least be able to achieve in order to for the rest of the statement, in order for their personal and professional growth. So end goal, plan, and then what skills and knowledge you need in order to make that plan work going forward. Is that the same thing? Or was that kind of different? Yeah. I got it. Different way, different voice.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar ballpark there because the question is there already a field for what you're trying to do, or are you creating a new blueprint, right? Um, and if what you're trying to achieve, what that goal is, if there's already a field there, then start doing research there. You know where you're looking to, right? Chris is right, Google it, right? But I think sometimes the challenge is, what am I looking for? Or what am I researching? You know, so figure out, is there already is this already an established field? And if you play in the blueprint, man, that answer is gonna come from trial and error, right? And you journal your way through trial and error, so you can figure out what was the hiccup at this part before, and and you begin to learn. But for 99% of the world, is already a field for what we're trying to accomplish. So I'm big on, if you're looking to do something, and maybe this is just how I'm built, I don't not only just do research, but I start subscribing to podcasts, so I can start listening to professionals in that field talk, people who's been in that field, just listening to them talk about it, learning the language of the field, understanding it. Because the more ins and out of it I can learn, or I know or begin to understand, the more I will be able to understand what skills and talents are necessary for accomplishing my goal, right? I remember it was a moment where I was like, let me look into IT. I want to see what this IT thing is about. And it's like, well, what part of IT do you want to go into? I was like, I don't know. But as I started listening to people in IT talk, there's like so many different fields. It's not just this, right? It's not just security, but there's network, there's cloud, there's developers, I'm like, wait a minute, And so what's the talent or the skill I need to know for security? Oh, part of that is you got to kind of know about developers too, because you got to know how they hack. So that's something that you learn by listening to the professionals talk, listening to podcasts, listening to the do's and don'ts, the what I wish I knew videos and stuff. So for that's where it's at for me.
I think along just a caveat to what everybody else has said, we may need to stop trying to do stuff and pay a coach, pay a mentor. Because sometimes we need somebody that is there, that knows how to get there, that knows how to get other people there, that can actually walk me through it, because I'm trying everything I know in my limited knowledge. And sometimes you got to say, man, let me pay this dude who has a class, who can actually walk me through this, that I can gain some relevant knowledge in said area, because he may have knowledge in that area, he or she, but I may want to take it to another niche or whatever. So I think when I'm looking at where I want to be, I got to slow it down. I got to slow it down to where I can see everything, because when I can see everything, I say, okay, I'm not necessarily focused on this part right now. I want to hone in and master this part of the craft so that I can master this. then move on to the next thing. So I'm not all over the place like I'm an octopus and got my hands everywhere, but I'm focused on one piece at a time. That way I can grow in that area, move to the next and grow in that area. And then I have everything that I need so that I can move forward in 2024 and beyond.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with all of that. I like the concept of reverse engineering your goal. If you want to do whatever said goal is, there has to be a process to where you reverse engineer it. And then when you reverse engineer it, which means that you understand what you need to do, steps of the way to get to the outcome, then those become your benchmarks, your milestones, things of that nature. And then someplace along the line, like Roland said, there's going to be something that I know absolutely nothing about. I am totally clueless on this. I remember finishing my degree, Uncle Junior. I had to go out to a church and actually become well, not a church, an organization, and actually sit in 4 AA meetings. I ain't know about no AA meetings. I ain't never been to no AA meetings a day in my life. So I had to get online and do the research, and then I had to go face to face with these people and say, "Hey, I'm a student at Liberty University, and part of my degree field is blah 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 blah, and I'm supposed to come and attend. Is it possible? Would you be willing? Are you open to it?" She was like, "Absolutely, come on." And then next thing you know, it kind of created a great relationship because when I got finished, she was like, "You coming back, right?" I'm like, we'll see. We'll see. Right. But nonetheless, there was some great conversations that I had with her, and she opened my eyes to a lot of things within that organization that no one knows about. I think everybody need to, if you get time, if you find time to go spend time in an AA meeting, because you will learn a lot about yourself while being in the company of people who've hit rock bottom. Some of those people were making high six figures and they literally threw it all away, lost their families, things of that nature. And that was that was a very eye opening experience for me. But then on the other side, you hear people out here to where they are, make whatever they make, but then they're struggling, they're arguing, bickering, fussing, and fighting about nothingness. To where these people who've experienced making six figures, they just want to love everybody because they realize that the money goal is not the goal. The goal of life is progressively understanding who you are within the Most High. And so, that being said, your most valuable commodity, and I can't stress this enough, your most valuable commodity is not money. Never was money, never could have ever been money. It is always time. And so when you waste time pursuing the how to, then you've literally, even though you may achieve some goal and make X amount of, get a pay raise, whatever the case may be, you squandered it on the time that you took to get to that point when all you had to do is like what Roland said, go find somebody who specializes in that, and they will cut your time in most cases by 3/4. Like you will literally get to the end goal exponentially faster. So great points, gentlemen. I greatly appreciate that. We're running close on time. There's another question I really want to get in here as well. And I don't have time to go back and forth and do it the old fashioned way. So I'm gonna keep doing it this way because I like it and you guys will like it too because it's good. How can individuals recognize early signs of burnout and stress? And I'm asking this question for a personal reason. I'm gonna be transparent here in a second. Early signs of burnout and stress while maintaining their commitment to achieving success, and what proactive steps can they take to prevent these challenges from happening? I'm sorry for the cutoff. From impacting their well-being.
I would say sometimes the early signs for burnout, and I'm just speaking for myself, can be irrational irritation to things that normally don't bother you. You start getting frustrated at the small steps and at the small things. It's hard to just go to work. Like if it's work that's burning me out, like sometimes it's hard to just get out the car and I'm sitting in the parking lot. I made it all the way there, but it's that moment, when it takes me that extra moment, that's when I know burnout is coming. I either need a VA appointment soon, or I need to put in some PTO. Yeah, being funny. But what's good about work is when I need to take that time off, there's someone that I can point to and say, hey, I need you to cover my station for this day or for these days, because I'm gonna be gone. They may not do the work that I would have done, and I might have to do a little bit of cleanup, but that's all right, because that mental health is more important than that 5 minutes of extra work that I'm gonna have to do when I come back. So if at all possible, delegate whatever you can ahead of time. If I can't get the time off, sometimes it's like, hey, I need help down in this station, and not necessarily because the job is hard, but because I'm getting burnt out, and because I'm doing too much at one time, and I just need to be able to delegate some of this load to the left or to the right, so that I can at least maintain the main thing for me and keep my commitment.
I think when it's not fun anymore, when it becomes a job, and when your work, while you're doing your work, you got a that'll-do attitude. Like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. And I think a way to, in the military, we had this thing when I was on the mid team, it was only how many? I think 11 of us, and sometimes I was overloaded, and then a leader should know this, but they say, hey, take a knee. Sometimes you got to take a knee. Sometimes you got to stop what you're doing, not worried about anything else, not worried about it failing, not worried about it succeeding, and say, man, take a breath, breathe, so that you can get something in you, take a breath and say, man, okay, this is why I'm doing this. Let me step back so that I can recoup some energy, and that I can go ahead full force again, because right now I'm running into brick walls and everything, not realizing, man, I can just go around this thing. So sometimes you just got to step back, take a knee, so that you can look at the bigger picture, so that you can move forward, because it wasn't fun no more. It's just a job. It's just, okay, I'm just trying to make money.
I would say just listen to your body. Your body will tell you. Your body will tell you if you're burnt out. Your body will tell you if you're stressed out. If what you are doing just does not feel good anymore, like everybody said, that's when it's time to just sit back and chill out. And to be real, I think we should start encouraging people to actually chill out sometimes. Because like I always say, man, there's this unreasonable responsibility that we have to actually achieve. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yes, you do have a gift, and yes, it is your obligation as a human being to share that gift with the world, but I don't run yourself in the ground trying to do it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when you're not putting out quality work because you know what I'm saying, because it's like, because your mindset is like that, that's when, all right, let me chill out for a minute and listen to it. Because like I said before, man, there's nothing worse than being sat down by your body as opposed to sitting down, like, willingly. It's not fun.
I think, how can individuals recognize early signs of burnout and stress while maintaining their commitment to achieving success? Excuse me. The first thing I wrote down was, first of all, you need to recognize exactly what burnout is. And I think that's a conversation that you need to have, long conversation we need to have with ourselves, because everything ain't burnout. Sometimes some of it is you just freaking lazy and you just don't want to do it, right? Some of it could be you got other things to do. Some of it could be the universe telling you that maybe you need to transition into a different field. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very important that we first of all recognize exactly what burnout is, because not everybody knows exactly what burnout is. So I think first of all we should start there, and then after that, kind of what Chris was talking about, as I'm looking at observation and reflection. You know what I mean? What's going on in my life? Am I moody all the time? How is my wife or my husband or my friends? Are they noticing a change in me? You know, maybe not, but maybe sometimes our friends and our peers and our homeboys can sometimes pick up on things that we maybe can't, you know. And then the reflection piece. If you go back and you look back on your day, I think you can start to recognize some certain things. You know, you look back, okay, well, how was I today? How was I over this week? You can go back and reflect about just different things that go on in your life that may assist in some signs that there may be some burnout or some stress going on right here. Because if you burn out or you're stressed, usually people around you are going to feel it unless you're holding every single thing in and you're very good at lying. You know what I'm saying? But most of the time, the people that are very close to you, they can recognize stress in you. So, and I think I said the reflection piece. And then the other part about hold on. Oh, while maintaining their commitment to achieving success. Hold on, man. I'm off somewhere.
It was the face for me, bro. I'm sorry.
Maintaining their commitment to achieving success. I missed something, but for some reason I wrote intentional self-care down. So I think maintaining that commitment to achieving success and, you know, recognizing those signs, all of that just comes. I think you need to be intentional about your self-care, you know, and not just say, oh well, I'm gonna do this. You know, what is it you really like to do? You know, what is it that really gives you care? Not just saying, okay, well, I'm gonna put some on a date. Me and my wife are going to the movies here. Are we going to cook out to go get some burgers? You know what I mean? Not just stuff like that, but really take thought and be intentional about the things that really are self-care to you, you know, not just throwing darts and picking something to do, although that can be effective as well.
All hearts and mind clear. Just want to make sure. All right, all right. Um, Agreeing with all of that. Moment of transparency. I started to feel some burnout last year. Not gonna lie. I think I think Chris, you said it. You got to listen to your body. Your body, and this is the thing I tell people all the time. We use our emotions for the wrong thing. Your emotions are indicators. They let you know that something is wrong. Your boundaries have been encroached upon. And I started to experience that. And when I did, I said, okay, something's not right. And so, and those of you guys who have been with me for a while, you noticed I started to scale back just a little bit. It was probably very subtle, right? But those of you in the membership program, you felt it. I scaled back just a little bit. It was intentional, right? Because I started to feel burnout. Here's the thing that I talk about all the time, and I think it's important for us to understand: an effective operations plan actually has a burnout actually has burnout written into it. So what am I saying? I'm saying that for the plan to be effective in any organization, it actually combats burnout incrementally so that the employees never experience burnout. That's what's important to understand. Now, I'm agreeing with shout out to this awesome leader here, retired Sergeant Major Edgar Fuentes. I'm agreeing with him on this statement here. All success comes with some level of stress. Stress is necessary. So we're not necessarily don't confuse stress and burnout. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm glad he said that, because if someone someplace else thinking that we're just talking about stress, that's not it. You need stress. Stress is actually good for you. You got to be careful though. Too much stress is where you start to run into issues, right? If you're working in an environment and you have high levels of stress all the time, that's not good. I think go listen to Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek does a great conversation in relation to that, where he talks about what is tend to call what is actually called a slow cortisol drip, and understand the adverse effects behind that. So to his point, I'm agreeing. Some levels of stress or success comes with stress, right? Achieving success comes with stress. When you start looking at high levels of success, you're going to start looking at some high levels of stress as well. But the continuation of that is where you're going to run into detriment. So for me, I scaled back and I kind of revamped. I took a knee. just to be honest with you. I took a knee, I took a breath, and then I said, okay, now I have to approach this year differently. And that's why we ended up having that conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago. Because, like Roland said, when you get to the point where how you feel about what you're doing starts to change, that is an indicator that that's a problem. The goal didn't change, right? The calling didn't change. The purpose didn't change. The only thing that changed is that I had to do some self reflection and realize that I actually dove in the pool, in the deep end of the pool, head first. And this brother right here don't swim. You see what I'm saying? So I'm doing the mule kick, the dog paddle, the backstroke, all at the same time. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. I'm telling you this story simply because I don't care who you are, you can experience burnout just by simply trying to pursue your goal. You can be so hyper focused on achieving success that you never define success. And when you never define success, you're constantly chasing something that keeps moving every time you achieve this new thing. Oh, what's the next thing? Oh, what's the next thing? It's the next thing. And ultimately, you start living a life of just accomplishment with no rhyme or reason and no purpose whatsoever. So I think this is important to discuss. I think this is important for everybody to consider. And when you go back and reflect on your goals and trust, everybody here, this is digital accountability. Any one of us can go pull this video up and say, Chris said this, Roland said this, Gaddy said this, Uncle Junior said this, Coach said this, everybody in the chat says this, and we can actually hold everybody accountable, right? As you look at your goal and you start to refine your goal and look at the milestones that you have to achieve, make sure that you write in the accomplishment of each milestone some type of, I think it was Roland that talked about, I'm sorry, Uncle Junior talked about personal care. Make sure you do something for you. That's one of the reasons why I wake up early in the morning, because reading is relaxing. The thing that I read is fulfilling. So that's the thing for me. So make sure that you're doing that for yourself and make sure that it's written in your plan. Okay, last question, and then we're going to get into some final thoughts. And I wanted to say personally, I appreciate everybody who's been with us tonight. We appreciate your time and patience. We appreciate you over there on Facebook, Instagram, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and LinkedIn as well. We greatly appreciate you guys. Go ahead and hit the like button as we get ready to dive into this last question. And this question here is all about community. So, in what ways can a supportive community act as a catalyst for innovation, collaboration, and collective achievement?
In what way? I think I'm big on group economics, because I think without group economics, you have splinter cells, you have splintered individuals trying to do things. Yes, sir.
Before you proceed, may you please define group economics for those people who may not understand it?
Group economics, where as a community, you're pooling your resources, you're pooling your money, you're pooling your everything together. Where as if I'm a farmer and you're a mechanic, where we don't always have to go to somebody else out of our neighborhood, because when I spend money at your shop, it cycles through our community, because it goes into the community, not outside. And you shop with me and I shop with, or whatever. It's just like a SUSA fund. If we have a SUSA fund where we're saving money one with another, to where we are the beneficiaries of it, we can make sure that your family eats, Gaddy family eats, Chris family, Hunk's family eats, and our concern is for the community, and not that we're not concerned with everything outside, but first and foremost, it's about us. It's a selfish thing if you look at it that way, but some type of selfishness is necessary when you're trying to build self, because my objective is to say, hey, let me make sure them girls over there in Colleen are eating, or let me make sure that we have what we need. So as a catalyst, I have to make sure that I'm straight, but we have to brainstorm to see what's needed within the community first and foremost, because I can say, well, I think they need this and I think they need that. So we got to stop, get that pride out the way, and come to the table and just get honest and say, hey, this is where I am. This is what I can offer. And how can we all help one another? And when we brainstorm and do that, then we can come to a collective and say, okay, this is what we have and this is what we're working with. So let's see how we can move forward with that.
I'm going to keep it real short and sweet. If you look at this panel right here is a supportive community. And we can even extend it out to the chat and the people who are in the membership program, right? So, but let's just talk about us 5 brothers that's on here tonight, right? There's innovation that happens over here. There's collaboration. There's collective achievement. There's sharing of knowledge. There's sharing of information. There's the good, the bad, the ugly, the pros and cons. There's a whole bunch of different things all wrapped up into us 5 brothers right here. So this is an example of how a supportive community can act as a catalyst. So when I see this question, I immediately thought about us 5 up here and how we share amongst each other all different types of things. So,
man, I'm kind of right there with is, and it's simple, right? And then the kind of what led me to the name that I chose for myself, for my handle, availability. If we can be available as a community to each other, I think that's the starting point of everything, of innovation, collaboration, right? Collective achievement. Because it's not just, I think some people think it's okay to just say, hey, I'm there. But you have to actually be there, because it's a part, there's a point in the collaboration where information is shared. And if you only show up when it's time for action, which is good, but which is okay, let me say that. But when you only show up when it's time for action, you miss the shared information about the thing. And so you really don't have the vision. You really don't have the mindset that goes behind the thing we're doing. And so you're just acting. You're not, it's not that you're not smart, or it's not that you're not talented, but you're not given what is needed for this. So I think I think the answer for me for all 3 is availability to one another. I need to be able to bend your ear and to get advice.
I agree with Uncle Twame. The first thing that I thought of, though, was the mastermind principle in Think and Grow Rich. And isn't there, like, I'm not real biblical, but isn't there a verse that says, if 2 or more people ask for something in my name, so shall it be, or something like that? It's the mastermind principle. That's what I have. It's the mastermind principle.
Did I miss something? Did Rolling you already? Oh, okay. My bad. I apologize. I detect. I mean, I agree. Like everything you guys said, I'm agreeing 100%. I think the notion here is that the community is supportive. So what does that look like? It looks like whatever the community needs, right? Does the community need wise counsel? Yes. Does the community need financial support, like Roland said? Yes. Does the community need nurturing? Yes. Does the community need education? Yes. The community needs everything that the household needs. Therefore, whatever the household actually is very good at, it leaks outside of the house into the community. That's how it works. In fact, the community that suffers, the only reason the community suffers is because the households are suffering. So if you build the community from within outwardly, you will have a stronger community. That's how it works, right? It's no bickering in the community. It's no fighting in the community. Here's the most important part. There is no competition in the community. We don't compete with one another. We collaborate with one another. How can I help you do this one thing? How can I help you do this one thing? Another one of my brothers out there, he is getting ready to start his own podcast. Well, as soon as I seen him posted on Facebook, I jumped in. Awesome. I love it. How can I help? That's it. I don't view him as competition. That's my brother. Why would we do that? It doesn't make sense. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, that we feel that we need to compete against one another. Why? Because in our mind, we were conditioned to believe that we exist in a time and space that we have limited resources. Therefore, our brothers are now our enemy because we feel that we need to collect as many resources as we possibly can. It is the worst thing that we have ever done to ourselves. So stop consuming the stuff that is giving you the worst information out there. This is not competition. This is collaboration. That's what community is all about, right? You should be open and willing to help somebody and don't feel like you're losing anything. Like my brother Stephen Cobb said, good to see you, brother. Like he said, a collective for sure. And for sure, this group, thank you so much, bro. And I agree, talk the talk and walk the walk. Too many people like to talk, right? But unfortunately, their behavior do not support the talk that they have. If you speak it, make sure that you be it. In fact, you shouldn't even speak from a place that you are not. Don't speak something if it's not your character trait. Stop trying to impress people by helping them to understand that you're somebody that you're not. Because when they call upon you and say, hey, brother, hey, sister, I need your help. Oh, man, I would, but don't worry about it. I won't call you again. Guarantee you that. Listen, I greatly appreciate you guys on this panel. I love you guys dearly. I love you guys in the chat, man. You guys are awesome. Not just over here on YouTube, but over here on Facebook. Edgar, Steven, love you guys, man. You guys are awesome. Again, you guys over there on Instagram, you guys on LinkedIn. Thank you guys for taking the opportunity to spend time with us. And with that being said, that takes us to our bittersweet moments where we have our final thoughts. And with that being said, we're going to start with the youngest gun under the sun, my brother from another mother, right? Chris, you have the floor. Take it away.
My final thought is simple, man. If there's something that you want to do it. Just go. Man, listen, there's so much information out here, and there are so many ways for you to just put a plan together and just go. So just go. You have been given all of the tools that you need to make whatever you want to happen in your life happen. So make it happen.
I want to add just one thing a little unorthodox to everything that we said today, because everything that Coach just said and his and the end of his spill all leads to a thing that I feel like our generations have been trying to get away from, right? And just hear me when I say it, but and that's the unadulterated word of God, right? Even in churches, they'll tell you the old is done away with, but then they'll tell you the old tells you to give your tithe. Right? I'm sorry, but the old was teaching a people how to be a people, how to be a community, how to honor God. And Christ said that the whole of the law hinges on these two: love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Love your neighbor as you love. Everything in there is about God and community. And I think it becomes more achievable, the community part, when we can get back to remembering God as a group and as a community. And in doing that, loving God is loving our neighbor, is being a community together. It all hinges right there. And then we don't have to go no further.
One thing that Coach said not too long ago was I'm kind of paraphrasing. He talked about changing or chasing undefined success, and that led to some of his burnout. In 2024, as we already mentioned, there are a lot of people who have set some goals, some ambitious goals, and even some unrealistic goals. However, that plan is very important. And at some point, you need to figure out, why are you doing this? And if you can't figure out why you're doing it or what success looks like at the end, then your plan probably needs a little bit more work. And this is, I'm only saying this because, like Coach was saying, this could potentially lead to burnout, which could potentially lead to you not fulfilling your goals and your dreams and not accomplishing the things that you want to do in 2024. So to sum it up again, make sure that you define what your success looks like in 2024 and determine why you're doing what you're doing.
The year on the calendar and the days on the calendar have changed, but every day is a new start. It's a new opportunity for you to discipline yourself so that you can be better. If you want to start something, you can start over every day. Don't look at yesterday as a failure. Look at today as a new opportunity. So discipline yourself and work on self before you branch out, before you overextend or even extend yourself to do some things. Because when you work on yourself, you allow other people to see, like, okay, he has this part of life together. And when you can get yourself together, then you can help somebody else. But as long as you're struggling, all you're going to do is help somebody else struggle with you. That's it.
I greatly appreciate all of those comments, and they're absolutely correct. I think it's important for us to understand that we have to stop moving haphazardly throughout life, right? We need to have a plan. And I think as a young man, very young man, I just didn't have a plan. Nobody ever told me that I needed to have a plan. I didn't even know how to construct a plan. I just thought it was important for me to put food on the table and keep the electricity on. And so it's important that our generation, right? Us Gen Xers, it's important that we get this down to the science. Why? So that we can teach our children and so that we can help them teach our grandchildren, right? Because we do not want to leave the community splintered. If we're not doing our part for the sake of community development and generational uplifting, then we're missing a big purpose. We're missing everything, really. Like, it is incumbent upon us to be better, like you heard my brother just say. It's incumbent upon us to be better incrementally throughout time so that we can teach better. Our lessons should not be wash, rinse, and repeat. If we're just washing, rinsing, and repeat from the previous generation, you're missing it. You're missing it. Stop teaching old, antiquated lessons unless they're lessons of value. That's the key. You have to watch those lessons. You have to understand whether or not these lessons add value to not only you, but the people around you. It should be a blessing for you to show up at somebody else's house. That's just it. If you go around somebody and it just seems like you suck the wind out of them, that's a me problem, right? That's on me. So that's the thing. My goals, and I have to stress this piece, everything that I am doing come from within. Got it? So when it comes down to your goals are a reflection of who you are. So how do I improve the goals? How do I increase my goals? I have to make this person right here better. That's why we stress the community. That's why we talk about the community. That's why we ask you guys to join the community, because being a part of the community, we uplift each other. We talk from the perspective of positivity. We talk from nurturing, developing all of these great things. And again, we create these step-by-step programs on goal setting so that people can understand how to effectively set goals. So again, if you have not joined the community yet, go to www.totalmindsetshift.com and then just join the community. That's it. Good to see you, Adrian, and welcome, brother. Join the community, right? That's what it's all about. We welcome each and every one of you. And again, that's not the place for politics. That's not the place to bring information from TikTok unless it's positive and uplifting. We break stuff down like that. That's not what we're doing over there. We're all about your elevation. That's what it is. So listen, on behalf of these fine gentlemen on the panel, on this first show of this new year, I just want to greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Again, subscribe to the channel, share this video, go back and look at it again, because if you have not yet tapped into it, just keep listening to this video over and over again. I promise you, you're going to continue to get stuff out of it. So with that being said, you guys have a great rest of your evening, a fantastic weekend. If you're a college football fan, Monday night, 7:30 p.m., watching Michigan and Washington, but go toe to toe. for the national championship because I'm, for my brother over here. I'm supporting because my Bulldogs ain't made it. Anyway, you guys be awesome, man. We're gonna see you guys same time next week, 8 p.m. on the Hearts of Men podcast.